Good evening, and thank you for joining us for the school board meeting of Independent School District 721, New Prague Area Schools. At this time, I'd like to have Janelle take note that all 7 members of the school board are present, and we'll begin by saying the Pledge of Allegiance.
One nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
Tonight, we're having Spotlight on Success, done by the Falcon Ridge principal and his entourage of parents and children. Welcome, Dave. Yeah.
All right, good evening, members of the board. Thank you for allowing us to speak tonight. My name is Dave Geese, and I'm the principal at Falcon Ridge, and with me tonight are 4 fifth graders that we're going to be talking about BizTown and our recent field trip to St. Paul. So with me tonight is Amelia Eichens, Afton Weckman, Maddie Spitzer, and Logan Rao. And again, BizTown is a field trip that all 5th graders throughout our district take. Our trip was 2 weeks ago, so again, we were in St. Paul for an entire day. But this is a very unique field trip because there's curriculum that leads up to it, where kids are gaining academic skills, but then they spend an entire day as part of a community practicing for jobs that they have researched, prepared for, and applied for. So I'm gonna kind of turn things over to the kids and let them do some of the talking here.
Hi, my name is Amelia. Some of the highlights from JA BizTown were just being able to walk around our community and using our very own debit card that we got at the bank. Speaking of money, we also got to open a checking and savings account. Another highlight is just being able to work with our coworkers and making Hi, my name is Maddie, and I'm going to be talking about preparation for JA BizTown. We practice about 45 minutes a day, 3 to 4 days a week, and for about 2.5 months. In the beginning, we looked at all of our job options, then we made job applications. First, we picked the COs and CFOs, then the COs and CFOs interviewed and hired students who wanted to work for their business. We also worked a lot on business finances, such as paying bills, writing checks, and tracking our money. After all that hard work, I think it was a huge success because we learned so much and it was super fun. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Afton, and I will be talking about real-world skills that I saw at JA BizTown. First of all, I saw real business at JA BizTown, such as Great Clips, U.S. Bank, Delta, and many other. Sorry. There was also real-life experiences and problems. We had taxes, debit cards, savings and checkings accounts, and we had to pay off a loan. There was real devices such as iPads, computers, TVs, and many others. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Logan, and I'm talking about academic skills. We had to use our skills that we learned in school at BizTown. We had to pay for health insurance cards. We had to learn how to use a money tracker when we bought stuff. CFOs needed to pay bills and taxes. CEOs had to set prices with the sales manager. We had to have people skills speaking to a group.
I was also the mayor for a day at JA Biztown. At Biztown, I had to do 2 speeches, one in the morning and the one in the afternoon before we left. I also had to pick a citizen of the day and a business of the day. I think I made a great choice on those. I also had to give out, I also had to do a lot of running around to other businesses and had to get health cards for all of my employees. I also had great employees. Thank you.
So again, the premise of the whole day and leading up to it was that they were really essentially part of a community, and there were, again, businesses they had to function where bills were paid, money was collected, and they got a sense of what you could say the real world is like over the course of one day. A couple things that I wanted to mention, I was able to get up there and spend part of the day with them, but we brought 99 fifth graders with us, and it was, again, like I mentioned, a very unique field trip in the sense that there was build up and lead up. All of these folks, along with our fifth graders, had to apply for jobs, and they had to figure out who was going to be the mayor, who was going to help to run the show for the day. But very rarely is there an opportunity like this where you see all kids have a high level of success and involvement, and that's what that day was all about. So kudos to these guys. Our fifth grade teachers did a great job in preparing them. And again, this was our 4th year attending. It's kind of become a staple of our fifth grade students being able to attend. And one thing that I think is worth mentioning, these guys did a fantastic job, not only preparing for the day, but also just carrying themselves as representatives of New Prague. When that big yellow bus, actually a couple of them, pulled up to J.A. Biztown, New Prague Area Schools is right on the side. And I speak on behalf of this field trip, but also all of our trips. We get a ton of compliments on the way that our kids and staff conduct themselves. So lots to be proud of with these kids, but also all of our kids. So any questions?
I have a question. Could one of you maybe sum up what you learned for the day? What was the experience like? Was it fun, interesting? Did you learn that paying bills is hard? What did you learn?
It's kind of hard to run your own business and start off with nothing. And we just learned a lot of people skills, like being on our own and being independent.
Would any of you care to offer your favorite part of the whole experience?
Probably just running around and seeing all of my other coworkers and all of the other kids just happy and excited for the day.
Also being able to work with your friends and getting to pay all the loans and figuring out all the answers to questions and just...
Does this make, go ahead.
Thank you.
Does this make you look forward to being adults someday? Huh? Just think, you do this every day.
I was going to ask if you
take your
were-
time, enjoy being kids as long as you
Yeah.
can.
if
that's
you were
for
going to
sure.
run for mayor when you grew up. No.
You could do it. So this picture right here is a good one to kind of end on. They all had to give speeches at one point, and they're speaking to their classmates, which is not an easy thing to do. But Afton, again, was kind of leading the charge as that mayor, and they all did a fantastic job.
Awesome.
Great.
We're proud of you guys.
Thanks, you
It's
guys.
Very nice
wonderful.
program, very nice.
Thank you.
Well, as has been the tradition, we'll take a picture. Mr. Geeson, we have some sunglasses for the students. If they'd come up and stay up there, please. We're going to take a quick picture if you don't mind. Unfortunately, there aren't a pair for Mr. Geeson or me, so it'll just be students. But come on over here.
Fantastic experience.
Thank you so much for coming. Very nice. Next, we'll go on to item number 5 of the agenda, and that is the open forum. And do we have somebody to have an open forum presentation? Good evening. Thanks for coming. And I'm sure you've gone through the ground rules for the open forum and take about 3 minutes to discuss your open forum topic. And we'll start by having you introduce yourselves, your name, and in your case, what grade you are in school.
I was given 5 minutes in the email I was sent as well, so.
Could you speak a little louder into
I was given 5 minutes in the email I was given. It
Oh,
said-
5 minutes, yeah,
Sorry.
yeah, no problem. There's 2 of you, so you could actually have 6.
Just moral
But-
support.
Just more support. I'm really scared.
And then, is this your mom?
Yes.
Could you please introduce yourself as well?
Yes, I'm Cynthia Brimhall, Olivia Brimhall's mom.
Okay, thank you.
Hello, my name is Olivia Brimhall, and I am currently a junior at the New Prague High School. I'm involved in show choir, dance team, track and field, NHS, link crew, and musical. I enjoy singing and spending time with my family, as well as growing in my faith as a Christian. I'm involved in my youth group, part of a regional youth committee, have served as a camp counselor and a leader for my youth group. I plan to pursue a career in the veterinarian field. I work hard to keep my standards high. Some of the challenges I face with keeping my standards is the environment I am in at school. At New Prague High School, I am around lots of students who swear, talk vulgarly, racially, and sexually. The most challenging thing I have come to face with at the high school are the college and school curriculum and the things within the curriculum. Some of the content in some of the courses provided are very questionable. Many students have similar concerns but are afraid to speak up, as am I. I'm very nervous. I have recently had to drop 2 college classes, which is Spanish 3 and CIS Literature. In Spanish 3, we are expected to watch rated R movies for cultural observations or opt out and not receive college credit at all. I was very upset at finding that I had to watch the rated R movies and that it was required. I have never seen a rated R movie in my life and never want to. I was told that the sexual parts would be cut out as much as they could, but the language in the movie would not. I decided to search each of the movies on the IMDb A Parent's Guide to see if it was okay to try. I found multiple things that shocked me, leading to surprise, stress, worry, anxiety, anger, and sorrow. I felt very uncomfortable. I decided to watch the first movie titled Motorcycles Diaries. The swearing was beyond count. There was an F-bomb every other second, every other word. It also included language between the 2 main characters, included references to sex, and more than 70 instances of profanity, all of which the New Prague area schools does not allow. The most sickening part was when one of the characters was talking with a woman, he came to find that she was a prostitute. He offered to pay her in order to receive his own enjoyment, which she responded with, "You know that natives used to soothe their need by having sex with dolphins that have the same organs as a woman. As I imagine, all of you are feeling sick. I felt very sick at this moment. You may think I have had enough of this is bad already, or thinking suck it up and deal with it. Well, that's just it. I'm done sucking it up. I'm done dealing with it. I'm dealing with it, and I'm speaking up, and I'm not done yet. I thought CIS literature would be different, but right off the bat, it was back to the sexuality and swearing. I'm going to read a section from the book, The Invisible Man, called Battle Royale. We were rushed up to the front of the ballroom, where it smelled even more strongly of tobacco and whiskey. Then we were pushed into place. I almost wet my pants. A sea of faces, some hostile, some amused, ringed around us, and in the center, facing us, stood a magnificent blonde, stark naked. There was dead silence. I felt a blast of cold air chill me. I tried to back away, but they were behind me and around me. Some of the boys stood with lowered heads, trembling. I felt a wave of irrational guilt and fear. My teeth chattered, my skin turned to goose flesh, my knees knocked. Yet I was strongly attracted and looked in spite of myself. Had the price of looking been blindness, I would have looked. The hair was yellow like that of a circus. I can't say that.
I don't know, quippy?
Okay, quippy. Doll, the face heavily powdered and rough. As though to form an abstract mask, the eyes hollow and smeared a cool blue, the color of a baboon's butt. I felt a desire to spit upon her as my eyes brushed slowly over her body. Her breasts were firm and round as the domes of East Indian temples, and I stood so close as to see the fine skin texture and beads of purely perspiration glistening like dew around the pink and erected buds. I can't finish.
Of her nipples. I wanted at one and at the same time to run from the room, to sink through the floor, or go to her and cover her from my eyes and the eyes of the other with my body, to feel the soft thighs, to caress her and destroy her, to love her and to murder her, to hide her and yet to stroke where below the small American flag tattooed upon her belly, her thighs formed a capital V. I had a notion that of all in the room, she saw only me with her impersonal eyes. And then she began to dance, a slow, sensuous movement, a smoke of 100 cigars clinging to her like thinnest of veils. She seemed like a fair bird girl, gliding as veils in veils, calling to me from the angry surface of some gray and threatening sea. I was transported. Then I became aware of the clarinet playing and the big shots yelling at us. Some threatened us if we looked, and others if we did not. On my right, I saw one faint boy, and now a man grabbed a silver pitcher from a table and stepped close as he dashed ice water upon him and stood up and forced two of us to support him as his head hung and moans issued from his thick bluish lips. Another boy began to plead to go home. He was the largest of the group, wearing, I'm not sure the hole punch takes it out, fighting trunks, much too small to conceal the erection which projected from him as though in answer to the insinuating low register moaning of the clarinet. He tried to hide himself with his boxing gloves. And all the while the blonde continued to dance, smiling faintly at the big shots who watched her with fascination and faintly smiling at her fear. I noticed a certain merchant who followed her hungrily, his lips loose and drooling. He was a large man who wore diamond studs in a shirt front which swelled with ample paunch underneath. And each time the blonde swayed her undulating hips, he ran his hand through his thin hair of his bald head, and with his arms upheld, his posture clumsily like an intoxicated panda, wound his belly in a slow and obscene grind. This creature was completely hypnotized. The music had quickened. As a dancer flung herself about with a detached expression of her face, the men began reaching out to touch her. I could see their beefy fingers sink into her soft flesh. Some of the others tried to stop them, and she began to move around the floor in graceful circles as they gave chase, slipping and sliding over the polished floor. It was mad. Chairs went crashing, drinks were spilt as they ran laughing and howling after her. They caught her just as she reached a door, raised her from the floor, and tossed her as college boys are tossing at a hazing. And after her red fixed, smiling lips, I saw the terror and disgust in her eyes, almost like my own terror, and that which I saw in some of the other boys. As I watched, they tossed her twice, and her soft breasts seemed to flatten against the air, and her legs flung wildly as she spun. Some of the more sober ones helped to escape, and I started off the floor, heading for the anteroom with the rest of the boys.
Questions? Why are these classes we choose for CIS? Why do you not warn students about the content before it's too late to register at a different college? Why is there similar content in 9th, 10th, and now 11th grade?
Thank you for bringing this to our attention. I'm going to ask Dr. Valmute to take this information and maybe contact you as well and talk to the school officials as well to get a response for you.
I give you one thing, we have talked to teachers, principals. We're always told it's part of the curriculum, that they took a long time to pick it. We can't change the curriculum in the CIS classes because we're certified for those classes. But why wasn't this reviewed by a board before it got there? So I don't know if you really need to contact the teachers or the administration because they know we've expressed. That kind of, I appreciate you trying, but I just want you to know she's already been there. She did it on her own, so.
Well, we'll look at it again.
Hey, Denny, can we put it on our next work session agenda? This specifically, perhaps the...
I'd like to have Dr. Valmute do the discussion with the school staff, and then he can report back to us.
At our work session, or...
Whenever his pleasure is, it's up to him to do the timing. I'm not going to insist on a certain time.
This is my formal request to add it to our next work session agenda.
Okay? Your request taken. But I'm not making any promises. Okay, any other open forum? Thank you again for bringing that to our attention. Next, we have the approval of the agenda. I'm sorry, you have to have the approval for the open forum by 12 o'clock on the day of the meeting.
I'll do it. Hey, my name on accident. I didn't want to speak because I am also a employee of the high school and know that this is already going to be a difficult situation for me to return to meetings, and I know teachers are going to be frustrated, and I'm not here to put them down. My daughter loves them, but
you're also a parent, so
Yes,
don't
so-
worry about that.
anyways, our questions are, I guess our responses, I don't have my notes, I have my husband's notes. If I were to play this in a work environment, one of these movies, if I was to read this stuff, I'd be in violation of sexual harassment, regulations, and laws. I looked through our student handbook. There's stuff in there for profanity. This is not the first experience. We had issues with scenes from Romeo and Juliet movies being played. I'm hoping that the curriculum was removed from us talking to people about the modern translation, which made Romeo and Juliet rather vulgar. There is a book, as a special education teacher, I find very offensive, The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime, if I'm saying the title right, that has similar content. This is by far the worst, but it's similar. I have 3 more children coming through. I have nieces and nephews. I have neighborhood kids. And we have repeatedly talked to people. I have been told, well, what we do in our family is when I come as a teacher, we go out and we know the world's a rough place, so we're together. And I have heard the circles of, well, what can we do to make you happy or make this okay? There's nothing you can do to make it okay. It's not okay. I feel bad for the parents that don't know that's happening. I feel bad for the girls that I know that have been sexually assaulted and sit in these classrooms with co-ed students, classmates, and have to analyze these texts. This text was analyzed in detail in class. This is horrible. It doesn't matter if you're Christian, if you believe that, if you live with the standards we do. This is terrible. We know that it is not a friendly environment in high school for a lot of content, and this is terrible. We're frustrated that our daughter has been expected to participate in this. There was no warning. Next year she plans to completely go online, except for choir, because she's done. She's over it. She fought it 9th grade, 10th grade, and she's fighting it again. She's at the point where she's given up, but she's fighting for the kids that come after her. This is disturbing. These are my husband's words. This is disturbing to me. My 17-year-old daughter is sitting in a co-ed class going over this in detail. It's degrading. In the workplace, there are regulations on how I and others speak to each other and the kind of media we have. Does this article help my kid? Does it help other kids? There's not other options. I feel like our school district is above this. We talk about doing good, all our core values, to be better, do better. This is not being better. This is not doing better. This is not standing for something. This is not enriching our kids. It's harming them, and she's not the only one. Please don't excuse that she's the only one that showed up, because it was very difficult for her to come. And I doubt any of her peers will be able to do it. I ask that you start reviewing curriculum, especially the literature in the schools, and not just the curriculum, but the added things that teachers are using to teach the kids. I don't think they have ill intentions, but it has ill results and consequences. Those images will never leave any of our minds, so I apologize for that, but they are in our children's minds. That's all I have.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we'll go on to item number 6, approval of the agenda. But before we do the approval, there are 2 changes that will take place. First of all, we will move the American Indian Advisory Committee resolution up to this point in the meeting. And then also the budget for 26 will be an action item. So move that into the action items, please. With those 2 changes, I'll ask for a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item passes. Next, we'll go on to the consent agenda. Not seeing any changes there, I'll ask for a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item passes.
Mr. Chair, would this be a good time to invite our guests up to
Yes, thank you.
11.3, the American India Ed Parent Advisory Committee resolution?
Thank you. And I will have you read the resolution for us, please. Normally, we have our clerk do it, but we, at this junction, like to have you do it as a representative.
My name is Rachel Zabinski, and I am the Native Ed Facilitator for New Prague Area Schools. And with me tonight is Taylor Broom. She will be representing our APAC and reading the resolution, and she's here on behalf of our chairperson, Sarah Page.
Thank you. Go ahead and read the resolution.
Good evening. Whereas the school board or district has an APAC composed of parents or guardians of American Indian children who are eligible for Indian education programs, American Indian language and culture teachers and paraprofessionals, American Indian teachers, American Indian counselors, American Indians adults enrolled in educational programming, and American Indian representatives from the community. Whereas the school board or district affords the APAC the necessary information and the opportunity to effectively express their views concerning all aspects of American Indian education and the educational needs of the American Indian children enrolled in the school and program. And whereas the APAC is directly involved with and advises the school board and school district staff on American Indian education program planning, and whereas the APAC develops and submits recommendations to the school board and district staff pertaining to the needs of American Indian students. Therefore, be it resolved that the APAC concurs that the school board and district are compliant with the Minnesota statutes, section 124D.78, and that the school board and district are meeting the needs of American Indian students. We, the American Indian Parent Advisory Committee, issue a vote of concurrence. We attest the school board and/or the district are compliant with the Minnesota statutes and that the school board and/or district are meeting the needs of American Indian students.
Thank you so much. I'll ask for a motion to approve the resolution.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Could you take a roll, please, Dan?
Karen,
Yes.
Ann,
Yes.
Kim,
Yes.
Denny,
Yes.
Jean,
Yes.
and Carrie.
Thank you so much, ladies, for coming up.
Thank you very much.
Next, we'll go on to,
Oh, and Dan, yes.
You forgot yourself.
don't want to leave yourself out, Dan. Thank you. Next, we'll go on to item 8.1, and that is the Special Education Council and Southwest Metro Intermediate District, the first committee that will have the report, and I'll do the report for that. A meeting was held of the SEAC committee on the 6th of January, and at that meeting, they discussed a transition program that they're going to sponsor in our district, and it'll be available to students from other districts as well as ours, and hopefully it'll be a very successful thing that parents can attend and learn from experts on how to transition their students who are getting towards the end of their schooling, special needs schooling, and start living their lives on their own. So it's a very important part of their education. Because these students that attend the transition programs have special needs, they are still having an IEP up until the age of 22. So it'll be the last time that some of these students will be working with either an IEP or a 504 plan. So we will have our planning for that special event on February the 12th. And I believe then we'll work out the date. I don't see a date here as far as when it'll take place, but I know that we'll be planning the event on the 12th of February. Any questions about the transition program? You'll hear that word transition a couple of more times tonight, by the way. Next, we will go on to the Southwest Metro Intermediate School District, and I attended that meeting a week ago tomorrow, and it was a good meeting. The major part of that meeting was talking about our audit report. We had our audit report completed, and it passed with flying colors, no reservations. The one little quirk was that we went below our 12% reserve fund. Just barely. I mean, if you rounded it off, we would be at the 12% that it should be at, and I'm sure that we'll work on getting that back up to the 12% reserve fund that we, as a board, approved. And then, now going back to the transition program, we had two presentations on transition programs. One that is done by the Southwest Metro school itself, and then the other one was by the Waseca Associate Member Transition Program in Waseca, Minnesota. And both presentations were done by the staff of the transition programs, and both did a great job of explaining to us the nuances of their programs. And one interesting thing, the one that's done in Waseca is headed by a person who is actually a mom of a transition student. So she speaks from personal experience as well. So we enjoyed having both of those presentations, and the rest of the meeting was committee reports and reports from the different advisors. Questions? Okay, then we'll go on to the next committee report, and that would be the Legislative Committee.
The Legislative Committee met on January 7th and agreed to narrow our focus to 3 primary legislative priorities for this legislative session. First, just maintaining the inflationary increase in the general ed formula. Second, fully funding special education services mandates. And third, opposing any new mandates. These priorities are all in alignment with MSBA, MASA, and SAFE. The next planned steps are to draft our rationale for each priority as it relates to this district, and then to seek approval from this board as well as the District Advisory Committee. A visit to the Capitol and meetings with local representatives will likely take place in early March.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for Ann? If not, then we'll go on to the next one, and that is the community education.
No meeting.
That one, okay. Item 8.4, Early Childhood Community Coalition. Jean?
Yes. So the early childhood group met in December and had just a fun, enjoyable evening together, a social time, and they went to Brookside 19, which is fun. That's a local restaurant in New Prague. So it was a social gathering, and I got a picture. That's my notes, and I don't have any screen to put it up on, or I didn't bring it. But the next meeting is February 5th.
Questions for Jean? Comments? Okay. Next, we'll go on to the finance and the facilities/joint powers committee. And we will be having our finance and facilities committee meeting in February. So we'll still be looking for that. Joint powers, I believe, Dan had a meeting this evening.
Yeah, so Joint Powers meeting, 3 main takeaways from that report. We're in the process of switching from Swim America to Red Cross certifications for our swimming lessons, and so that's going to take place here over the next 2 to 4 months. You know, the wheels are in motion. That's to help us save some time and money just with the types of certifications, and then the Red Cross certifications is significantly more universal, so people trained elsewhere can work at our pool, and then people we train can also do that. So we think that's going to be a good adjustment. This evening, we also adjusted the wages some as far as for lifeguards go. Currently, with the last school district adjustment, our standard student wages got to be equal to the lifeguard wages, and we try to keep those a little bit above just standard student wages elsewhere in the district to incentivize people to get certified and things like that. And so those wages were adjusted. And then as far as financially speaking, we're doing a little bit better with expenses and income than we were last year, and so our operating loss is a little bit smaller, which is nice.
Thank you. Any questions for Dan? Okay. Then we'll go on to item 8.6, Equity Committee. And I believe that's still a work in progress as far as finding the best fit for our school district as far as the Equity Committee is concerned. Next we'll
If
go
I
on
may,
to-
I would just say.
Yes, Dan. I'm
we're-
sorry. Yes, Andy.
I'm sorry, Mr. Chair. We're just trying to identify what Equity 2.0 looks like, and hope to bring some ideas back to this group and talk to stakeholders who have been involved. So plans are in progress. It's still a work in progress, though.
Yep. Okay, thank you so much, Andy. Next, we'll go on to item 8.7, District Advisory Committee. Carrie?
Next meeting will be in March. We haven't met.
Okay, all right. Then we'll go on to the New Prague Area Education Foundation, and Jean will take that.
We had a meeting on last Monday, January 19th. It is such an enjoyable group. There were 18 people in the group, 16 came that night, representatives from each school and the community and district office as well come together. This group, again, just as a reminder, the funds are raised through local businesses, community members, wherever they come from, are happily accepted, and they go towards grants in the classroom, as well as scholarships for the students. So it was a very productive meeting. The board was put in place, some new nominations to the board, and then Mr. Boothie guided the meeting and did a fantastic job with that. And it was very informative. So the board was established, positions that were open were established, and then we went through the list of our various opportunities to bring lots of neat things to our community to expose kids' arts. And then the various events that we have to raise funds were also all listed during that time, and we had different people sign up to come alongside of each event to staff those events. So it looks like it's going to be a great, strong year. Yeah, really, it's an exciting thing that's happening, and looks to like it's growing as it goes along. So
Wonderful.
yeah.
Any questions or comments for Jean? Okay, then we'll go on to item 8.9, the policy committee. Gary,
Do you want to do
Karen?
superintendent report first?
Kim?
No good news this month.
I think you jumped over me, Mr. Chair, if that's,
One is good
do you
news.
mind if I jump in quick?
Okay, sure.
It's at the bottom of the page, and
Okay.
I'm insignificant, so that's fine.
I'm out of order.
I'll jump in quick.
Yeah, I got skipped tonight, too.
Yeah, couple things that I just wanted to add, as Director Schmidt was talking about the New Prague Education Foundation. I would also remind our community and our students that I think the scholarships opportunities are now available. They're online. Last year, over $100,000 were given away in scholarships, and I'll talk a little bit about my superintendent student advisory, which I met with last week. But Mr. Boothie was there and giving them a preview of those scholarships and how to apply. But good news for our students, but also it's a testament of the high level of care and concern that and commitment that our Education Foundation has. I have a couple of good news. One, I have a certificate for Ann Christie from the School Boards Association. I don't have any sunglasses left, so I'll give it to you afterwards. You can stay there. But she has completed all 4 phases of the leadership development. So she has a leadership development certificate, and congratulations on that. I wanted to recognize, I got a very nice note from a community member about 2 things. One, our One Act play, which took part in St. Peter. I know some of you may have been involved. They've done a really nice job. But the note that I got came from a citizen who was so impressed that our athletic director was at the One Act play. And so I want to thank Mr. Skogerbo for the work that he does, not just in the athletics, but also in the activities. And I think that was Saturday afternoon in St. Peter that he was there, and that was noted by community members. And so thank you to Mr. Skogerbo. Congratulations to our One Act play team, as well as all of our other arts, athletics, and activities. You all should have received a little note at your desk this afternoon or this evening. There's one for you as well. Those are thank you notes from members of the Superintendent Student Advisory Group, who thank you for your service as we recognize School Board Appreciation Month coming to an end. Mr. Call, yours was the only one that was sealed, and so I didn't get to proof it. So if there's something that shouldn't have been there, don't blame me. But I did take a look, and they were excited to be able to write those notes to you, and looking forward to having opportunities for you to interact with that group, hopefully at some point in the near future. And then lastly, I just want to acknowledge I've received several questions with regards to immigration customs enforcement in light of what has transpired in Minneapolis, St. Paul, and many metro communities over the past weeks. Though the direct impact to our communities has been limited, per my understanding, I just want to make sure that everyone's aware of a few reminders on behalf of the school system. Foremost, a reminder that student, family, and staff safety are our utmost priority. We benefit from a strong partnership with our local law enforcement agencies and have and will continue to stay in close contact with them during this time as we do in normal circumstances. Secondly, our administration is aware of practices regarding immigration matters, and our district administration is prepared to support our schools as needed. Our staff have and will continue to prioritize strong relationships with students and families. I want to put a plug in for our student services teams throughout our school system that have and will continue to be a great resource for students and families. Their work is central to fostering student well-being and belonging throughout the system, and we are committed to supporting all of our students' well-being and sense of belonging. And I encourage anyone in need of support during these uncertain times to reach out to a member of our administration or their respective student support team. And finally, I get questions about our response, and the best thing that I can say about our response is that it's fluid in nature. It's based on the needs of our students and also the information that we have before us at any given time. And so we continue to have discussions, we continue to talk about safety and security and what that means for all of our students, and that will be our plan going forward. So thank you.
Thank you, Andy.
I just want to add one thing. For the One Act, they took second in their subsection, and they are now going on to sections next weekend in Shakopee, I think. Saturday in Shakopee. So if anybody out there wants to go and support the arts, that would be great. I was there in St. Peter all day on Saturday, and honestly, New Prague had the biggest crowd, and there wasn't a very big crowd because it was like minus 100 degrees, but New Prague had a really good showing, and that made me really happy. Support the arts.
Thank you, Karen, for sharing that. Okay, now getting back to order here. We are in 10.1, and that is the first reading of the policies. Okay.
First policy is 203.5 School Board Meeting Agenda. The purpose of this policy is to provide procedures for the preparation of the school board meeting agenda to ensure that the board can accomplish its business as efficiently and expeditiously as possible. This is a legislative policy. Questions, concerns, Anne?
None.
Kim?
No.
Jenny?
None.
Carrie?
Just wondering if we can move this out as far as giving board members more time to review the packages. Just looking at some other districts, there's anything from like 7 days to 4 days. 2 days is really short, especially when we're full-time jobs. So if there's any chance that we could out to receive board packages prior to 2 days would be amazing.
Oh, okay.
This is the first reading, so the second reading wouldn't be until next month.
Sorry, are you referring to this? You're not referring directly to this policy. You're referring to the agendas in which we provide, which are sent out to you?
Yes.
Okay. We can take that under advisement. We can work to, oftentimes we're working throughout the week to prepare the agendas. But we can do our best to see if we can push that up a little bit. Are there any parts of the agendas in particular that is policies, or is it just everything, or is there anything in particular that would be helpful?
Kind of in general.
Just everything?
Just everything that needs to be reviewed before we come here and are prepared to speak intelligent.
We'll note it and see what we can do to help expedite it.
So you're looking to
But by-
change it on here, on this policy?
Yes.
Because it does say on section
With 2 days.
3C says the tentative agenda and supporting documents shall be sent to the school board members 2 working days prior to the scheduled school board meeting. That's what's listed on
Yeah,
here.
that's what is
Right,
stated in the
but
policy.
Right, but if she wants that to be different, we have to look at this too.
That,
Oh.
it was in response to that.
Right, that's what I'm saying, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Our tradition has been to have them posted and available to you on Thursday for a Monday meeting.
Right, which is actually ahead of scheduled.
Noted, though. We can bring that back to the policy committee. Fair?
Dan?
Nope.
Second policy is 203.6 consent agenda. Purpose of this policy is to allow for the use of consent agenda. That's easy. This is also legislative. Questions, comments, Dan?
None.
Who are you, Jean?
Yeah, none.
Carrie?
None.
Danny?
None.
Kim?
No,
Anne?
None.
None for me. The last one is Board's Code of Ethics, Policy 209. The purpose of this policy is to assist the individual school board member in understanding his or her role as part of a school board and in recognizing the contribution that each member must make to develop an effective and responsible school board. This is also legislative. Questions or comments, Anne?
None.
Kim?
No.
Jenny?
Yes, I'd like to make a comment. I think this is an excellent policy. It is a great set of ethical ways of dealing with each other as board members, the way that we process things, what our roles are as school board members. A lot of people have different types of ideas about, how we should operate. And this one really spells it out as to how to do it. So definitely thumbs up on it.
Carrie? No. Jean?
No.
Dan?
I've got some. I also like the policy. I think it's a little overly broad in a couple areas. And so the items I'd like to discuss at our next meeting in section 2A5 is just what the definition of supported decision is after it's made, right? There's different levels that I think some people in this group have on that, and so I'd like to understand that a little bit better of, what that means. And then in section 2C, it has some binding language outside of board meetings as well, as far as disparaging remarks, right? And we talked about this 3 years ago a little bit about some things that some people consider disparaging remarks, other people don't, and things like that. And the language inside a board meeting, I think, is significantly more controlled. But depending upon what we consider that means, the types of things you might say outside of a board meeting about an opinion and why you think something is wrong, I'm trying to understand what we actually mean by that. And then in section 3...
Can I ask a question? So
Sure thing.
You're looking for like a definition of disparaging?
So and I'm trying to understand kind of from a practical standpoint what that means. So when I read the definition of the word disparaging, the question would be on what range is that? If somebody were outside a meeting to say, I think that is a silly policy decision, is that a disparaging remark or not, right? And then, there's different adjectives that you could use to describe a decision along, varying degrees. Some are clearly inside the disparaging category and others are like, is this a silly policy? Is that disparaging or not? I do not know definitively how this board interprets that.
So you would like a definition of disparaging?
Well, I have a definition of disparaging, right? The question is, in practice, what do we think that means? So is describing a policy decision as silly, is that a disparaging remark? I don't know. It's easier for me to say that if you say it's an idiotic decision, right? That falls way further inside the definition of disparaging for sure, in my opinion, right? But I don't know what the board thinks that means.
Like a shared definition is what you're looking for.
Yeah, and a more practical working definition, right? Because so many definitions are just in the eye of the beholder, right? And so things that I might not consider disparaging, other people might. And then in section 2F, this talks about fulfilling legal obligations. And then in 1 and 3, they're kind of tied requirements. And they deal with compliance with all laws and regulations. And we live in an interesting time when jurisdictions that we are responsible to answer to are not putting out the same regulations, right? So it's impossible to comply with both. And I'm interested in what we think about that and how we manage that. And then the second point in that same category, this policy restricts significantly what can be said outside a meeting, and it seems to put some obligations on what you can do outside of meetings, outside of your role as a board member. And so, I'm trying to get an idea of, where we draw the lines on those restrictions of meeting all the policies adopted by the board, right? So, that goes back to can I say a policy is silly or not, right? Because it is claiming, this policy claims authority well outside the role of, when you're actively in school board business. And so those are my questions for the next meeting.
If I may, would you mind emailing those to us, Mr. Call? I jotted notes. I think I saw other people jotting some notes, but I think just to have some clarity around the specifics of the questions on behalf of the policy committee, I'll jump in.
That'd be
Fair?
helpful.
Would that be helpful?
Yep.
Thank you.
Because we could all have different ideals written down.
Okay.
To his point.
Right.
And
Right.
when he said it's the, the ear of the beholder or whatever, it really is. I mean,
Right.
it can vary tremendously as to what a person thinks. Okay, that takes care of them, right? All right. Now we'll go on to the revised 26 budget presentation by Brian.
Good evening.
Good evening, Brian. Before you start, I know that basketball game of your son's is weighing heavily on you. I would be happy to excuse you to attend if you need to go.
Mr. Chair, I appreciate that. My duties are here. Thank you, though. I will attend once this meeting has concluded, so thank you.
I just want to show you that the board has a heart.
Okay, I am going to share the revised FY26 budget with you this evening. The agenda, I'll go through the general fund budget first, the 01 fund, and then the food service fund budget, the 02 fund, then community services fund budget, the 04 fund, and then lastly our debt service fund budget, the 07 fund. General fund, some summary numbers here to begin with. Our general fund revenues and our revised budget will come in at $52,028,392. Our general fund expenditures will come in at $51,667,263. Revenues over expenditures of $361,129. The change in our revenues from the preliminary budget approved last June to the revised budget will be $74,690, and change in expenditures from the preliminary to the revised budget of $336,650. If you recall, our unassigned fund balance at the end of FY25, the audited unassigned fund balance is 14.59%. And based off of the work done through the revised budget, we're projecting the budgeted unassigned fund balance to come in at 15.21%. Taking a look at our revenues, we've got a graphic on the left-hand side there. The data to support that is in the upper right corner there. You can see our state revenues come in at 83.26%, or $43,317,380. Federal revenues at 1.76%, $917,442. Property taxes come in at 11.59%, $6,030,243. And then our local revenue comes in at 3.39%. And a total of $52,028,392. Again, that increase in the general fund revenues is $74,690, mostly attributed to an increase in our state aid due to a higher than originally budgeted enrollment. Taking a look at our expenditures by object category, you can see the graphic again on the left-hand side there. As has been the case and is the case for all school districts, the vast majority, in this case, about 82%, just shy of 83% there is salaries, wages, and benefits. Purchase services comes in at 10%, supplies at 3.6%, equipment comes in at 3.489%. We have a small expenditure for debt service fees that is a general fund expenditure of $2,200, and so the 0.004% there. And then our other expenditures like insurances and different memberships and dues and different things like that come in at 0.695%. So total increase of general fund expenditures of $336,654, mainly due to an increase of salaries and benefits from the preliminary budget, some contract settlements, finalizing of benefit selections and the like there. I'll also note in the supplemental materials that are included on the board docs, we list out all of the expenditures by object in more detail there. And so if there are any questions about any particular line items, those are in more detail in the supplementary materials that are provided as well. Taking a look at our general fund expenditures by program now. You can see here it's broken out into a bar graph. Site administration at 2.90%, district administration at 1.01%, so 3.91% for administration. Support services at 3.38%, regular instruction at 43.15%, extracurricular activities at 3.59%, vocational instruction at 2.05%, special education at 19.24%, instructional support at 6.31%, pupil support services at 8.78%, facilities at 8.81%, and then other financing uses at 0.77% there. The numbers and the data to support that previous chart there, so I won't go through these again there. We've talked over the last handful of months about our unassigned fund balance. Again, the audited FY25 fund balance came in at 14.59%. You can see where we're at historically back to fiscal year 15, the 14-15 school year, down to a low point there of 6.53% in fiscal year 22-23, and now rebounding to 14.59%, and then budgeting next year, or at the end of this current fiscal year, at 15.21%. This is a summary of our general fund revenues, expenditures, and fund balances. In the upper right-hand corner, you can see there again that 14.59%. We list the different restricted funds that we have in our accounting system there with their beginning fund balances in the column that's labeled FY25 fund balance. And then we list our revenues, our expenditures, our transfers, and then our fund balance projected for the end of the year there. You can see down below towards the bottom there, our fiscal year 25, that audited fund balance is at $6,394,480. When we add the revenues, subtract the expenditures, and subtract the transfers, we're projecting the fiscal year 26 fund balance to come in at $6,993,465, or again, that 15.21%. Transitioning to the food service fund, the O2 fund. Again, a lot of data, a lot of numbers here. I'll draw your attention to the bottom there, the revised budget summary there. Our O2 fund revenues, we're projecting at $3,695,165. The change in the revenues goes up by $84,500 from the preliminary to the revised budget. Our expenditures, we're budgeting at $3,764,428. Expenditures increased there from preliminary to revised of $302,298, and I'll touch on that in just a second here. So our revenues are going to come in under our expenditures here. Expenditures are going to exceed revenues by $69,263. Fund balance at the end of FY25 was $1,670,882. And we're projecting that to come in at the end of this fiscal year at $1,601,619. I'm actually going to start at the bottom of the text box over on the right-hand side there. If you recall, MDE limits the size of your food service fund balance, and so it can't exceed 3 months of operating revenue, and so we are above that, and so we have to have a plan to start to spend that down. And so our revenues, I'll go up to the top here, revenues increase by $84,500 from the preliminary budget. We have a plan to replace, using food service dollars, the O2 fund dollars, to replace the cafeteria tables at the high school. And so the cost for that is about $309,000. So purchase the new cafeteria tables for the high school. The high school tables will be moved to the middle school, and the middle school tables will be auctioned off. And so that's the backstory behind the increase in the expenditures there from the preliminary to the revised budget for the O2 fund. Community Services Fund, the 04 fund, drawing your attention to the total revenues there of $4,646,077, and then the expenditures down at the bottom there of $4,631,836. And we'll go into more detail on our programs and expenditures and revenues on the next slide here. On the left-hand side, we have our different programs and their projected revenue and projected expenses. Down at the bottom there, you can see again that revenue is totaling $4,646,077. with a surplus there, a profit of 14,241. On the right-hand side there, in the red box, you can see we're starting the year with a negative fund balance in our community services fund of $141,927. And so by bringing in $14,241 more in revenue than expenditures, we're decreasing that negative fund balance to a negative $127,056. And we'll continue to work on that to structurally look at ways that we can get the community services fund back into a positive fund balance there. Our debt service fund, the 07 fund, you can see here a lot of numbers, a lot of data. Our revenues coming in will be $7,143,301 on the far right-hand side there. Expenditures at $7,026,285. Down at the bottom there, this is a restricted fund used obviously just for our debt service payment. So our fund balance at the beginning of the year, audited at the end of FY25, is $2,082,291. Our revenues exceeding our expenditures, that will bring our fund balance there to $2,199,307. Open it up for any questions. A lot of numbers, a lot of data there, but happy to answer any questions anybody might have.
Thank you, Brian. Very, very good report. We're keeping our fiscal house in order, that's for sure. If there are no questions, this is an action item, so I'll ask for a motion to approve the fiscal year 26 revised budget.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further comments or questions? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item passes. Thank you, Brian.
Thank you, Brian.
Thanks, Brian.
Okay, next we'll move on to further action items. We've taken the first one taken care of. 11.2 then is the approval of the overnight trip for the girls and boys golf teams.
I think Coach Mr. Dan Hartog is here. I think he'll come up and just give a couple of highlights. A little jealous about the trip that is being planned. Haven't asked yet if I'm going to be asked to chaperone, but that may be a request. So take it away.
Thanks for having me. Yeah, I've been coaching golf now for about 13 years, boys and girls. Girls assistant for a while, now the boys. But something that we've been wanting to do ever since I started coaching golf, and we've finally been able to make this work. So got some community members that are helping us out and some things like that. So all the kids are excited, and and the coaches are as well. So.
Okay. Any questions for Coach? Thank you. If not, I'll ask for a motion to approve.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further questions or comments? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item passes.
Thank you, guys.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Next, we have the approval of the overnight trip for the boys baseball team. Is there a spokesman?
I don't think Coach is here tonight, so I think the information is in your packet. I don't have any other information than what is provided there. I do remember that last year, I guess I do have a little more information, was the first year that they took one of these trips. And so I think this is just a continuation of practice that was either started or restarted last year.
I'll ask for a motion to approve the baseball trip.
So moved.
Moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 I'll take a second.
Oh, you'll take the second. Okay.
Second.
Karen and Jean.
Okay, next is item 11.4, and this will be Dan's resolution to accept the donation.
Whereas the New Prague Area Schools Board of Education has established a policy concerning the acceptance of gifts to the school district, and whereas Tim Applin wishes to donate a used car valued at $2,042 to the district's automotive program. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, any discussion? All right, we'll call the question. Karen?
Yes.
Ann?
Yes.
Kim?
Yes.
Dennis?
Yes.
Carrie?
Yes.
Jean?
Yes.
Dan? Yes. Motion carries.
Thank you, Tim.
Yes.
Next, we have item 11.5, another resolution from the Minnewacan Sioux community.
Whereas the New Prague Area Schools Board of Education has established a policy concerning the acceptance of gifts to the school district, and whereas the Mdewakanton Sioux community wishes to donate 3 AED machines valued at $1,795 each for a total donation valued at $5,385. There a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? All right, we'll call the question. Karen?
Yes.
Ann?
Yes.
Kim?
Yes.
Dennis?
Yes.
Carrie? Jean?
Yes.
Dan? Yes. Motion carries.
Next, we have item 11.6, a resolution to accept the donation for the Duck Club.
Whereas the New Prague Area Schools Board of Education has established a policy concerning the acceptance of gifts to the school district, and whereas the school board, whereas the Duck Cup wishes to donate $2,500 annually to the Newborn Talk program to support the mental health portion of the program. Is there a motion?
So moved. Second.
Any discussion?
What is the Newborn Talk program?
I believe it's a program that helps parents with their children, I believe, deal with their
Through
newborn.
As a point of reference, I don't know if you were on the board yet, Director Cuff. Crystal Erickson was one of our staff members and came and presented this over a year ago. And it's a program trying to make the connections with the school district and young families. Fairly innovative and very well received. If you would like, I could get more information about it. I don't have all of the details, but something that when Ms. Erickson came and presented, we were all very excited about, and she's very proud of the work she's doing and really carrying those connections between young families and the school district. So.
I don't need any more.
And generally, the Duck Cup is just a great organization in terms of providing support for mental illness issues.
Fair. I did an okay job of summarizing that, but it's a great program, and we'll have to have her back again at some point. So.
All right, we'll call the question. Karen?
Yes.
Ann?
Yes.
Kim?
Yes.
Dennis?
Yes.
Carrie?
Yes.
Jean?
Yes.
Dan? Yes. Motion carries.
On to 11.7, resolution to accept donation for the Softball Booster Club.
Whereas the New Prague Area School Board of Education has established a policy concerning the acceptance of gifts to the school district, and whereas the Softball Booster Club wishes to donate $2,350 to the district for electrical work done on the softball fields. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? We will call the question. Karen?
Yes.
Ann?
Yes.
Kim?
Yes.
Dennis?
Yes.
Carrie?
Yes.
Jean?
Yes.
Dan? Yes. Motion carries.
Thank you, Dan. Next, I'll ask for a motion to approve the adjournment of the meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Jean?
You have something?
Well, I was
Oh,
just.
I'm sorry, I
No,
didn't-
no, no. I didn't speak up. Could I take a moment to thank those people who all donated the.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, so we've got Mr. Applin, the Mdewakan Sioux community, the Duck Cup, and the Softball Booster Club. Just a formal thank you to all of them.
Thank you. Okay, who made the motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Okay. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item passes. Thank you, everybody.